Chapter 14. Endings are Beginnings. Begins with a quote from Maxine Hong Kingston. In a time of destruction, create something. A poem, a parade, a community, a school, a vow, a moral principle. One peaceful moment. As this book ends, how will you continue to cultivate your calm and compassionate center? Being the eye of the storm might mean living like this. Admitting the reality of the complex intertwined crises undermining our Earth home and navigating the complex feelings that arise from that knowledge. Accepting uncertainty about what the future will bring. Letting go of stories that invite further destruction, instead lifting up stories that don't require happy endings, but offer beauty, meaning, and purpose in the face of loss. Anticipating, bearing witness to, and grieving loss and pain, human and non-human. Finding meaning and purpose despite losses, without resorting to denial or quick fixes. Cultivating and sharing a non-anxious presence that will help ease the fears of others, using a toolbox of emotional and spiritual practices. Staying connected with people, neighbors who support each other in living, and kindred spirits who support each other in living out our values. Looking ineffectual or foolish by the standards of industrial consumer society because you live by different stories than those upholding industrial consumer society. Respecting limits, including the limits of our own bodies and minds. Savoring and nurturing life and love, beauty and wonder, courage and compassion, no matter what happens. Experimenting with ways of living simply, ways that respect humans and non-humans near and far, ways that you enjoy. Taking action to serve and love humans and non-humans, generously and authentically, without expecting to save the world. Your way of being the eye of the storm in these strange times will be unique. There is no one right way to be or act in the mapless territory we have entered. I hope that the lists, ideas, and conversations in this book inspire you. Remember that you need only take in a few at a time. I trust that you can find portions to support you now and set aside the rest of this book to consult later. You may want to reflect on whether your stories about industrial consumer society and your place in it have shifted while reading this book. Perhaps you question a story that seemed to you to be fact, or you now have affirmation of a hunch that you had never heard voiced before. You may find that your worldview continues to shift over time. Remember to find your people, and don't give up if it takes a few false starts. If you're still alone in your awareness of collapse, one approach to finding kindred spirits is to start a reading group of this book, online or in person, with people who care about ecological and social justice. Throughout the book, people have noted that action can be calming. I invite you to take small actions to break out of any routine that is not serving you. Walks, conversations with neighbors and possible kindred spirits, communing with the non-human world. Cooking a new recipe, meditation, or journaling are some ideas. Notice, I did not include social media on this list. Please take your time to experiment before committing to a life change or a large project. I'll say that again. Please take your time to experiment before committing to a life change or a large project. Drastic action before deep reflection is not the goal. It's what got us into this predicament. Think and explore long before starting any large project from scratch. It's much more fun and less work to become a supporter of an existing project. Don't expect to make a living with your efforts. Instead, make a life. Remember that tending, sustaining, and befriending are all honorable work. And remember that tending the back end, whether composting your waste or doing administration of groups, is also love in action. Anxiety is contagious. Calm is contagious. And courage is contagious. Our lives ahead will almost certainly be deeply challenging as we face heartbreaking and disorienting losses. Yet in the company of others, we can imagine and start living into a future that respects limits and treats humans and the non-human world with dignity, whatever unfolds. We can create that world, at least in fragments. With the tools and references in this book, and with kindred spirits, we can create calm, purpose, gratitude, and even joy in our lives now, and we can share these gifts. We can be the eye of the storm, creating calm and courage to shelter others. If you found this book helpful, please share it, and remember that endings are also beginnings. Epilogue. Leaving an oasis of pine and cool breeze, we descend into dry canyons dotted with scrub. We are provisioned with abundant gifts of beauty and wisdom, birdsong and soft woodland duff, perspective and resonance, cold water, and ancient fossils. We are full. We are affirmed as co-creators breaking out of imposed chains, alive to the presence of tiny treasures at our feet, deep canyons of meaning that have no words, senses that grant superpowers if we but attend. The canyon is in us. The birdsong is in us. The charred sentinel pines are in us. The seeping water and the squishy mud are in us. All is beauty, all around us and in us, all Earth's precious jewels.
This is Terry LePage, author of Eye of the Storm, Facing Climate and Social Chaos with Calm and Courage. Thank you for listening to my book. It concludes with an annotated bibliography of 39 references, then 129 endnotes, finally a page and a half of acknowledgments. I will not read those to you. I do want to read the dedication to my friends and fellow travelers in the Deep Adaptation Forum. I'm very grateful to Michael Dowd for recording this audiobook with his wonderful voice and his enthusiasm. This amateur recording was checked for errors that changed the meaning. It does contain a number of word changes that don't affect the meaning, so if you want to share quotes, please check them against a print version of the book. You are welcome to email me at terry@opendoorcommunication.org. Terry is Terry. Open Door Communication has no S at the end. terry@opendoorcommunication.org. Some of my groups can be found at deepadaptation.info/events, and you are invited to join. opendoorcommunication.org/EYE is the website for this book. On this website, you'll find ordering options for the book in paperback and electronic forms, including international orders in a free option, as well as other resources related to the book. If you find Eye of the Storm valuable, please share it with friends and colleagues and on social media. Word of mouth is the only way it can get to people who need its message. Thanks again for listening, and take care.